Shalom. My name is Rabbi Eli. Yes, that Rabbi Eli, the one who talks with his hands, who asks questions and then answers them himself, who believes that if a story doesn't make a child giggle at least once, and make an adult pause at least once, then we haven't really learned Torah yet. So pull your chair a little closer, straighten your kippah or your curiosity, whichever you're wearing today, and let me tell you a story about Shabbat. But not just any story, a midrashic story, the kind that begins in heaven, wanders through the marketplace, peeks into your kitchen on Friday afternoon, and somehow ends up sitting quietly with you as the candles flicker. The Midrash in Bereishit Rabbah tells us something strange, something almost sad. When God was creating the world, each day of creation had a partner. Sunday had Monday, Tuesday had Wednesday, Thursday had Friday, and then there was Shabbat. Shabbat stood alone. Imagine that for a moment. The sun has just set on the 6th day. The world is humming oceans breathing, birds testing their voices, humans blinking in wonder. And Shabbat looks around and says,
"Everyone has a pair. Everyone belongs to someone. And me?"
The Midrash says, Shabbat went before the Holy One, blessed be he, and complained, yes, complained. Even holy days can kvetch a little.
Ribono shel olam. Everyone has a partner, but I have none.
Now, pause right there, because already the children are asking, Shabbat can talk, and the adults are thinking, I know that feeling. God smiles, because God always smiles when a complaint is really a longing in disguise, and answers Shabbat, Knesset Yisrael, the people of Israel, will be your partner. And Shabbat is comforted, but not entirely, because, my friends, a promise is beautiful, but Shabbat still has to wait. Fast forward, generations pass, Avraham walks, Yitzhak digs, Yaakov dreams, Egypt tightens its grip, the sea splits, the Torah is given, and finally, the Jewish people stand ready. Now imagine Shabbat again. She is not just a day anymore. She is a queen, a bride. That's why we sing Leha Dodi. Come, my beloved, to greet the bride. That's not poetry we invented. That's Midrash breathing through music. Shabbat stands at the edge of time every Friday afternoon, dressed in light. She looks at her watch, yes. She has one and says,
Are they ready yet?
They're rushing. They're cooking. They're cleaning. They're yelling a little.
They always do that.
Now let's bring the camera closer into a Jewish home, maybe yours. It's Friday afternoon. The clock is moving too fast. The challah is rising, but not fast enough. Someone can't find the other shoe. Someone else is certain they already set the table. They did not. And Shabbat is hovering right outside the door. The Midrash doesn't say this part explicitly, but I will tell you, Shabbat doesn't come with judgment. She comes with curiosity. She peeks in and asks, Are they doing this for me? And the angels begin their report. They're exhausted, one angel says. They're arguing, says another. But look, a third angel whispers, They lit candles anyway. Ah, candles. The Midrash says that when a Jew lights Shabbat candles, peace descends into the home. Shalom bayit. But I want you to imagine it this way. Those candles are like porch lights. They say, we're ready. Even if we're not ready, we're ready. And Shabbat smiles. Now here's another Midrash, this one from the Talmud, Baitza 16a. It says that every Jew receives a neshama yetera, an extra soul, on Shabbat. Children always ask me, Rabbi Eli, where does it fit? Adults ask, can I keep it? The extra soul, the Midrash says, allows us to breathe more deeply, to enjoy food more fully, to sing more freely, to rest more honestly. Let me tell you a secret. The extra soul doesn't come because you earned it. It comes because Shabbat insisted. Shabbat went back to God and said,
They are trying, but they are tired. They carry the weight of the week. If I am to be their partner, I need help.
And God said, take a piece of heaven with you. So Shabbat arrives not empty-handed, but full of patience, full of sweetness, full of room. That's why the food tastes better. That's why the songs feel louder. That's why even silence feels different. That's not imagination. That's Shabbat. There's a parable tucked into the Midrash that I love to tell. Once there was a king who wanted to know if his people truly loved him, not feared him, not respected him, but loved him. So he took off his crown, changed his clothes, and walked through the city as a simple traveler. Some people ignored him. Some were rude. Some were kind, but only briefly. Then he came to one small home. The table was set beautifully. Candles were lit. The family was singing. Come in, they said to the stranger. Eat with us. The king sat. He listened. He rested. And in that home, he revealed himself. Let's go back to the desert. The Jews are wandering, hungry, learning how to trust. God sends manna from heaven every day except Shabbat. On Friday, a double portion fall. The people panic. It will spoil, they say. Moshe says, trust. And for the first time, food waits for us. The Midrash explains that Shabbat teaches us the radical idea that we do not have to chase blessing every day. Sometimes blessing arrives early and says, stop, I've got you. Shabbat is the day that proves the world can run without us for 25 hours. And that terrifies us and heals us. I once had a child ask me, Rabbi Eli, what if someone doesn't keep Shabbat? The honest question. The Midrash answers gently. Shabbat keeps them anyway. Shabbat is not fragile. She doesn't sulk if you forget her. She waits. Every Friday night she knocks. Sometimes we answer with wine and song. Sometimes with takeout and exhaustion. Sometimes not at all. But she comes because partners don't give up. One last Midrash. The angels once argued with God. Why give Shabbat to humans, they asked. They don't appreciate it properly. They rush, they break the mood, they check the time. God answered, that is precisely why. Shabbat was not made for angels. Angels don't need rest. They don't need reminders that they are more than what they produce. Humans do. Shabbat is not a reward for being perfect. It is a gift for being human. And now, my friends, we reach the end of the story. Except it's not an end, because every Friday afternoon, Shabbat is still standing there, listening for footsteps, watching for candlelight, carrying an extra soul under her arm, and she's still whispering the same words she said at the beginning of time.
Do you have room for me?
And every time, even once, when we say yes, the Midrash says all of creation exhales. So this week, when Shabbat comes, whether you greet her with song or silence, with a full table or a tired heart, remember, you are her partner. And she has been waiting for you since the 6th day of creation. Shabbat Shalom.
If this story brought a little Torah light into your home, your classroom, or your family time, your engagement truly makes a difference. Liking, sharing, and subscribing help these Midrashim reach more children and families who are hungry for meaningful, joyful stories. Thank you for supporting Jewish learning, imagination, and connection. One small click can spread a lot of light. With gratitude and blessings, Shalom.